prayer we must, this very evening and always going forward. And I will pray in the language of heaven, because Chukwukika Abiyama is in control of all that we have been doing and will continue to do until Biafra is restored and all the suffering indigenous populations in the damnable Zoological Republic are set free. Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile Chukwukika Abiyama onye na-efe na aja aha nsọ ya mma mgbe niile. Onye ọbụla na ya na-achị eluigwe n'ụwa na-agba akaebe ịhụnanya gị na ebere gị amara gị na ọmịiko gị ebe ndị gị na-eze ebe dị ngọzi. Anyị wee na-etoghị agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro, iwe nye anyị ndụ n'ala nke dị ndụ n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-asị na ịja mma niile otu niile dịrị aha nsọ gị. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya ka ike niile na ọ gbadara aka ya. Anyị wee na-akpọku gị na-asị gị na nke ọma anyị ga-ekele gị, nke ọjọọ ma anyị kelee gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, wee na-eto gị, wee na-asọpụrụ gị n'isi ụmụ gị niile bụ ndị ikwu ndị wee eziokwu mgbe a kpọrọ ha ka ha wee chekwaa ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra onye hụrụ na Chineke na ihe ndị kwuru anyị nkwa na o mekataghị ka ndị iro wee were ala nsọ Biafra onye hụrụ na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe. Agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro ma ndị na-agba mgbọgba ebe niile dị iche iche onye hụrụ na Chineke nna ihere bụ nke ndị dị etu a n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-eto gị, wee na-asị onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta, onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na n'ụtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise ise ise.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you notify each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much. And remember, in this channel, we speak about the things that are happening in Nigeria, the killings that happen in Nigeria, the subjugation of the people, the destruction of the indigenous people of Nigeria by the government. That is what we speak about. The deaths that Fulanis have brought upon the indigenous tribes, that is what we're talking about. The only single enemy in the contraption called Nigeria are the Fulani Janjaweed. And they are not indigenous to Nigeria. They are not indigenous. Nigeria has so many tribes. More than 400 ethnic tribes in Nigeria. Fulanis are not one of them. Fulanis are foreigners. But when they came, the outsiders welcomed them. Instead of staying silent, they have come to kill the outsiders, dismiss them, and take position of the outsiders. And that wasn't enough to them. Today, they are working around to make sure they occupy Nigeria and bring their brothers from all over West Africa to occupy Nigeria. They have spoken about it in the conventional media. They don't hide it. They say it in the open that they want to bring their brothers from all corners of West Africa and settle them in Nigeria. That Nigeria is their own. A governor have confessed to this. A governor revealed this. Not just because the governor said it, Governor Kogi said it, Governor of Kogi State, Governor Samuel Otto said it. This is where we find ourselves. And we will not stop talking. This is why we are online every day shouting and calling the attention of people to wake up before it is too late. The contraption called Nigeria doesn't mean well for anybody. And the people who are facing the terrible heat now is the southern part of Nigeria. The mission they have is to destroy the southern part of Nigeria and take over the south. This is the time for the southern part of Nigeria to unite. The Ududuwans, the Middle Beltans, the people from the Edo State. Everybody have to wake up, speak in one voice. We have a common enemy, which is the Fulani Janjaweed. It is all clear. Any other person you are talking down on is a distraction. You leave the major enemy and you are talking about the Yorubas, or you're talking about the Igbos, or you're talking about the Edos. That is irrelevant. The common enemy that we have now, who is coming to take over the land, kill the people and take over the land, are the Fulani Janjaweed. Those are the common enemy, and we have to focus on that. If you want to be alive, you have to focus on that. They don't mean well for you and I. You can see our brother Obodaya Melafia. They have succeeded in eliminating him. They have been trying for a very long time to eliminate Obodaya Melafia, planning from every angle, right, left, and center, to kill him. Finally, they have succeeded. If they can succeed in killing Obodaya Melafia, who are you? The only way we can be able to overcome these people is when we stand together. And if you think that the hand of the government is not in the death of Obodaya, I want you to watch this video. The last word Obodaya said in an interview. The word he said in 19, what he revealed in an interview where somebody was interrogating him in an interview. I want you to listen carefully from the beginning to the end. You will see that the federal government of Nigeria killed Obadiah Melafia.
I'm talking to you. I'm in hiding. Right now, not even my wife knows where I live.
Wow.
Yes. What they planned was that they would keep me there and interrogate me till past midnight. Then what they will then do is to say, look, it's too late to return me home, that I should just stay in the prison next door. And they had already paid somebody who is on death row that in the middle of the night, he will just get up and kill me. Yes. So they told my wife, look, call Washington, call everywhere. And actually, there was a call from the White House. In fairness to the Americans, there was also a call from London. There was a call from Germany. There's a call from France to Abuja to tell them that they warn them that they must make sure that no harm comes to me. And then when they saw the crowd, I think that was what then made them to backtrack. But they never quite gave up. And I praise some of the DSS people because they were very professional. They were very civil. But they were, of course, working under instructions.
Right.
And the people, their bosses, I think, had an agenda that I must be silenced at all costs. It's just that they looked at the scenario, they looked at, and then my son, who lives in Brussels, he also addressed the media. He called London, he called the EU Parliament. He even had a press media conference that was carried by channels. He didn't tell us, he just did it on his own. So the publicity over my case was such that they felt cornered. It became very difficult to them. Now, over a month ago, they tried to bomb my house. Some people called me and said I had a parcel from the United States and they needed to deliver it to my house. I should give them the address. I hesitated and, but I got winds that, it was not really a parcel. There was something else behind it. And but I would have still sent people, but at dawn, the morning in which I was supposed to go to take delivery, I dreamt and I saw that my whole house had crashed with everybody inside, including myself. It was like a warning dream. Then that dream came, I said, I think the Almighty must be telling me to be careful with this thing. So I decided to switch off my phones for 2 days. They've never called me to this very day.
After watching this, now you know what we are up to. These people do not care about the international community. They do not care about breaking law. You can see what they did to Asuna Martin Adikam. Went to Kenya, kidnapped him, and brought him to Nigeria without minding the consequence. This is the way they operate. So it is not a joke. Everybody from the southern part of Nigeria, including the Middle Belt, have to wake up. The death of Obadiah should be a wake-up call for everybody. That this is no longer a joke. Obadiah spoke about the killing of the prominent people. Eventually, he has become a victim of what he spoke about. He is one of the prominent men have been eliminated. That thing that Obadiah revealed, that they want to start killing prominent people, they started with Obadiah. Today, Obadiah Melafia is dead. They have eliminated him. And many people are going to go down. I pity all those politicians for the southern part of Nigeria who are still pretending, thinking that it's a joke. All those politicians for the southern part of Nigeria still dancing to the Janjaweed music. They can't spare you. It doesn't matter if you are Muslim. It doesn't matter the tribe you think you are. They will not spare you. Some of you think it's just about the Biafrans. They won't spare you. You think it's just about the Duduans. They won't spare you. It doesn't matter who you are. The only agenda they have is to enthrone the Fulanis and make sure they take charge of everywhere in Nigeria. And they are doing it without any apology. They want to do it. But I thank God that the masses know what is happening. The people of Nigeria, the ordinary people know what is happening, and they are crying on a daily basis. The only problem we have is that the political sectors are not hearing the voice of the masses. They are not listening to the voice of the masses. They are playing their own game for their own selfish interests. They are selling us out, killing us for their own selfish interests. And if you think that the masses are not hearing what is happening, I want you to watch this video to see how divided the masses are and see how informed the masses are in what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria. Let's watch.
You see? You want to destroy our country. You don't use your private business. You don't use your private business to come and continue nuisance in the country of 200 million people.
Destroy the private business.
So what are you talking about?
Do it. Let me see you.
Talk to me, Ojari.
Talk to him.
Shift. Make it so that they don't go to me. Come on for road job. Which guy your friend? Who tell you that you are my friend? Okay, you are my friend. You are not telling the truth. Tell the truth. You are an elderly man. You people have been constituting nuisance this country for too long. We kept quiet. This country does not belong to any sect. We have 3 solid regions in this country.
It doesn't belong to any sect.
Yes.
And it belongs to the Fulanis like you.
It doesn't belong to anybody. Who told you I'm a Fulani man? You're Kwara man. You say, Kwara, that's why you lost your identity. You are from Kwara State. You have lost your identity. You don't know where you come from. They should not use that to cause problem for the nation, for us. We have other things to think about as a nation. So many things. All the time they are talking about beating about the bush. Sheriff said they should give 150 billion for grazing. For what? Grazing business is a private business. This is their business, is private business. It's federal government rearing cattle. It's cattle and NMPC. So how much are they paying to us that every day we won't hear what? Every day they talk about grazing. How many cows is in this country? They went to Ghana. Ghana pursued them there. They come to Nigeria. They think they can come here and cause problem for us every day because we keep quiet. This thing is a private business. They can't use their private business to continue nuisance in a country of 200 million people. They can't be telling us all the time, how much are they paying as tax in this country? Tell me, how much is Meeti Allah paying as tax in this country? How much are they paying? Put together as association. How much is the tax? That every day, what we'll be struggling about is how to do grazing. How many cows is in this country that we cannot hear what?
Go to Brazil. Go to Australia. Are they not having cows? There is a way the governors can provide at least 50,000 hectares in every state. Then they will now bring the type of plant that the cows used to. They will now plant such in each state. In each state. Well, you say it can't happen. It can happen. You are challenged. This is the problem. You see it now. Somebody is telling me it can't happen. You see it. You say it can't happen. You see it. Can you see? Can you see what I'm saying? We are the problem. You see it. We are the problem. We are the problem. Can you see this one now? It's already on tolerance. You see? And you see it. You see yourself. Can you see? Can you see? You have your right. You have your own right. But your right is your left. You see, you see yourself. This is how some of you, this is the little brain you have.
But not that you allocate certain budget, that is percentage of taxpayers' money, and put it on ranches. It should not go well. You go to Alaba market, you see Igbos. They have their shops, they are transacting their businesses without asking federal government to come and budget, make special allocation for their businesses. Nigerians will not like it. But if government want to come by way of aiding them, grant them, give them a grant that they will be able to pay soft interest, soft loan, then they can take off.
140 million, you say? Let them give that to him. 140 billion. Oh, that's a whole lot. That is like a budget for some states. For ranching. No, I think that's too much. You know, honest, that's too much. Just for ranching? No, that's too much. How many of them? Do you have a census of this number of people that have this cattle? First things first, we need to get to the point where we say, okay, these are the number of persons that have this cattle. These are the number of cattle we want to ranch. Before we begin to attach a figure to it. Does he have that statistics? If he has that statistics, he can say, if he wants 1 trillion naira, and he has the statistics that we have 1,000 herdsmen, we have 20,000 cattle to take care of, then we can give him, if he says 1 trillion naira, and statistically that will cater for them. Why not? But you don't just wake up and say, you want 140 billion, you say, for ranching. Is that right? No. He needs to give us the statistics, the data on which he's basing that amount for.
So when we are talking of banning open grazing, everybody should embrace it. But government should look for alternative where they can have ranches. Whichever state is ready to grant ranches, they should take from those states, and they can always transport their cows to go and sell. It's a business. If you take your cow from here to Enugu, you look at the cost of transportation, add it to the selling price, and sell. And if people in Enugu, if they feel like eating cow, they will travel to Kano and buy their cows. You don't force people to go to their villages and take their land and say in the name of ranches.
But the main thing, the problem on this coin is that not bringing out 140 billion, but at the end of the day, in fact, the money will end into the private pockets of the people in the government. So at the end of the day, we find out that it will not solve the problem.
Yes, ranching is good. It's capital intensive. Anybody who wants to go into cattle business, they should put themselves together and raise the money. The people who rear cattle are not the owner. It's the rich people that fund them. So they should put their head together and create ranches. Yeah, the federal government can support them, but the federal government cannot do that for them 100%. And any money the federal government wants to release should be forwarded through the banks, and the banks should be made to account for it for the purpose of ranching, because it should not be given to them free. They should pay back the money.
We hear of SMSE, they help small scale business. Is that not so? We can also take this to be small scale businesses. Do you understand? It could be they are owned by persons. Is that not so? They are now becoming a menace to the society. Why not the FG can step in and say, okay, let us help you fine-tune this your business that will be beneficial to the nation and also to you. So they could be assisted.
Some states say they are not drinking beer. They will destroy hard-earned money of people. Then, when the other states that are drinking beer make their money from it, they will take it to where they are not drinking beer, and they will share. What an hypocrite action do we do in this country?
I was listening to El-Rufai some 2 days ago when he came to APC this thing. I was making a comment about it, that the Southern governors are ignorant of the law. Permit me to say, with an apology to His Excellency, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State, permit me to say this, an apology to him. He is the one that is actually ignorant of the law. The issue of that is very, very explicit in the law. With Nigerian Constitution will be divided into 3 segments. We have the exclusive list, we have the concurrent list, I have the residual list. Now, the exclusive, every item found in the exclusive list is what the federal government is responsible for. While everything found in the concurrent is what the states are responsible for. The residual list, all the items found in the residual list, talk about the item that the federal government and the state does not have power over to legislate. But at the same time, any of those can work on it based on the law passed by either the National Assembly or the State Assembly, as the case may be. Now, concerning the VAT issue, the VAT is not stated on the exclusive list, which is the responsibility of the federal government. Neither is it stated completely on the concurrent list, but the VAT is under the residual list. Now, all the items listed on the residual list in the constitutions are items that both the federal government and the state government has power to legislate upon. Now, when it comes about the issue of VAT is different. I was listening to El-Rufai some 2 days ago when he came to APC this thing. I was making a comment about it, that the Southern governors are ignorant of the law. Permit me to say, with an apology to His Excellency, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State, permit me to say this, an apology to him. He is the one that is actually ignorant of the law. Because if you know the law, as a lawyer, as a barrister, you should know that the Constitution, everything in Nigeria is governed by the constitutions. Without law, there will be anarchy. And in the law is brought by, so it helps us to checkmate the way we do this, our way of transactions with one another. That's why the law is there. Now, if you talk about the ignorant, the VAT is different from what they call corporate tax law. I saw doing for what we call econ tax law. The VAT, they call it value added tax. Value added tax are taxes that are imposed on goods and services. Like when you manufacturers goods, beverages, cars, all these are what is called VAT, value added. They are all imposed on manufactured things. So what it will mean that the VAT, every company, where the company are located, where the company are situated, the law permits that everything you are produced in your locality, the locality that is accommodating or hosting the company should pay back to the community. It was a pre-colonial and post-colonial. It's a pre-colonial and post-colonial issue. The white men that the British colonial, they were collecting vats in the Lagos in the north, and that's what they used to develop the DC. When after the independent, the post-independent, when we have the three regions, the south, the north, the southwest, the north, and the southeast, they are collecting VAT. Awolowo used his own to build what we call Cocoa House, the first TV and radio station in Africa, built by Awolowo. This is the VAT he collected. It was not sharing with the north. The north were building, collecting in Kano what we call the Granite Pyramid in Kano. They were collecting it and used it to develop. They used to do AB Uzaya. If you have AB Uzaya, was built from that by Le Sadwana Sokoto Ahmadu Bello. And also you go to the southeast. Now the Azikiwe was collecting VAT through palm oil. So it has been like that.
VAT collection now. Government is saying that they are the one to collect the VAT, while other states are saying they are the one to collect it. But as for my own view, I think states should collect the VAT, because the revenue, all this revenue that even federal government is collecting, we don't even see much in the development of the country. So if state government can collect, then maybe we can see much of it than for federal government to be collecting without any useful thing.
I felt it's not the federal government that take control of everything. So long as there's that division of labor and states have been given their autonomy, they should be allowed to operate on their own. So as whatever they generate, it now bounds to their state for them to develop their state.
The electronic transmission of results, the Imbrohala, the National Assembly's making is terrible, because Nigeria today have come of age. I believe that by now we should not be debating over issues like this, because we're in the 21st century where we are working with electronic. Everything about Nigeria is about electronics. We use POS, we do money transfer. Right now, you can buy it, you can be in Lagos and communicate with somebody in America and exchange pictures, exchange views, exchange ideas, exchange data. I see no reason why our elections cannot be transmitted with the same system. Understand? If our monetary system is being protected, our financial transaction is being protected very well, I believe that our vote can also follow the same line. It's because of fraud, because they don't want the right people that votes to win the election. So they want to manipulate it. That's why they are debating over it. As far as I'm concerned, election transmission is the best.
Well, actually, if you're telling me that you have blocked the account of terrorism sponsors, it's something that has to be done openly. It's not something you just come out from the blues and tell us that you have blocked accounts of people without us knowing who those people are. Actually, it doesn't work that way. So I believe that if government wants to show transparency, government should, in all honesty, tell us the names of those people who are behind this act, and then we can know when the accounts have actually been blocked. Definitely, if accounts have been blocked, you will not know. So, but when we get the names, we will know how they are faring and who they are in the society. If you block my account, definitely people who are around will know that I'm suffering from that process.
Whatever we generate there should belong to us. And see, the way we are going is not the best. Like you said, okay, you ask me, when you ask me, I answer you. I think states should own it, their VAT. Because that is what is obtainable in your state. Should be the income of the state. And not, for example, now, the VAT in the hotel. Some states say they are not drinking beer. They will destroy hard-earned money of people. Then, when the other states that are drinking beer make their money from it, they will take it to where they are not drinking beer, and they will share. What an hypocrite action do we do in this country? And they will share part of it. They will enjoy it. They will enjoy the benefit of the money paid from people producing beer or selling beer to make, or the hotel that are selling beer to make.
This is the situation. The masses know what is going on, and they can't have it. They have had enough. That is why 99.9% of the people in the southern part of Nigeria want a referendum. But I don't know why it is so difficult for this so-called political elite to ask for this referendum on behalf of their people. Is it a difficulty to ask? They are not asking for war. All they ask is self-determination, which is in their constitution. Why don't you use that constitution and invoke this self-determination? Call for a referendum so that people can decide their fate. Why is it so difficult? You see the North, each time they want to perpetrate their evil, they go to the constitution to root out something. Each time they want to perpetrate their evil, they go to the constitution to talk about it, that one that favors them. Why is it that the northern part of Nigeria, the southern part of Nigeria are not doing that? The southern part of Nigeria are just busy speaking grammar in the Senate, speaking grammar in the House of Assembly. Only grammar. After speaking grammar, they are done. This is what we see on a daily basis. Why the northerners are fighting for their people, grabbing as much as they can for their people, even through the constitution. The little loopholes that are in the constitution, the southerners cannot hold on it to ask for their freedom. They can't. They are so scared, so selfish, so self-centered. And they will surely pay for it. The assassination of the prominent people have started already. And many of these politicians who have refused to speak the truth and say the truth will definitely go down. Mazin Nandekano spoke about it. Obadiah Melafia spoke about it. Eventually, may his soul rest in peace. He's now a victim. It's going to happen. And many of you who are watching this video, who are still supporting One Nigeria, will go down. The earlier you begin to ask for self-determination and ask for the disintegration of this very contract called Nigeria to save life, the better for you and I. May Chukwu Okike continue to bless and guide our Sunna Mazin Nandekano. May Chukwu Okike continue to strengthen our Sunna Mazin Nandekano. May Chukwu Okike continue to equip him with wisdom. Bring him back to us very soon so that we can celebrate in a land flowing with milk and honey. A land we can defend with our life and our blood. That is what we're asking for. We are not Nigerians and can never be. We are Biafrans and we remain Biafrans. Biafra is our religion. It is either Biafra or that. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Oduduwa is here. Every single indigenous tribe in Nigeria must surely be free. Thank you so much for watching wherever you are watching from. I remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again on the next video.